Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to this deep dive. Today, we're tearing into excerpts from Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah, it's a pretty well-known one.
Definitely. Our mission, basically, is to zero in on its core ideas, about money, assets, liabilities.
And what it claims the rich teach their kids about finance. Stuff others might miss.
Right. And the hook, I think, is how it questions that traditional advice.
You mean the whole go to school, get a secure job thing?
Exactly. The book argues that might be kind of outdated advice today.
Because the financial world shifted. That's the core argument presented.
Absolutely. It starts right off with this strong contrast. Two dads, two viewpoints.
The poor dad view, maybe like love of money is the root of all evil.
Versus the rich dad perspective, maybe seeing the lack of money as the real problem.
It's a totally different mindset on wealth and work.
And that leads to different advice, doesn't it?
For sure. One says, get good grades, find that safe job. The other argues, well, with layoffs, automation, taxes always going up, that safe job isn't so safe anymore.
Yeah, the security isn't guaranteed. The book even mentions kids questioning school.
Right, like asking, why do I need school if Bill Gates didn't finish? Or referencing sports stars.
It really pokes at that conventional wisdom about the path to success.
Which brings us to maybe the biggest takeaway from the source material. The number one rule.
Knowing the difference between an asset and a liability.
Exactly. Defined very simply in the book. Assets, put money in your pocket.
And liabilities take money out?
Simple. But the crucial part is the claim that the rich focus on buying assets.
While the poor and middle class often buy liabilities they think are assets. Like a house sometimes or a car.
Right. And that confusion, buying those liabilities, that's what fuels the rat race.
Ah, yeah, the rat race. That feeling of being stuck.
You earn more money, maybe get a raise.
Then expenses just creep up to match it. Bigger house payment, car payment, more taxes.
So you're trapped, just working to pay the bills dependent on that job. The book uses that young couple example to show it.
So how do you escape, according to the source?
Mind your own business. That's the phrase used.
Which doesn't mean quit your job, necessarily.
No, not automatically. It means build your asset column. Something separate from just your salary.
Okay, so separate your profession from your actual, wealth-building business.
Precisely. Think of the Ray Kroc McDonald story told in the book.
Selling franchise systems was his profession.
But his business, the source argues, was accumulating the real estate under the restaurants. That was the asset generating long-term wealth.
That makes sense. A clear distinction.
And you can't do any of this, the book stresses, without financial literacy.
It's not just about making money, but understanding it.
Right. Lack of financial education is presented as the big hurdle, not lack of income itself.
Like that cash flow game example.
Yeah, where educated adults apparently struggled with basic stuff. Income statements, balance sheets.
The tools that show your actual cash flow, where money comes from, where it goes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Money without that financial intelligence. The book says it's often soon gone.
It also touches on emotions, right? Fear and greed.
Definitely. How those feelings can drive bad financial choices. Playing it too safe because of fear, or making rash decisions out of greed.
Keeping people trapped, essentially.
Yeah, the book suggests life kind of pushes you around sometimes, using discomfort like low pay to teach you lessons, if you're willing to learn financially.
Interesting point. And then there's the mention of corporations.
Presented neutrally, just explaining how the source sees them used by the wealthy. Offering legal protection, sure, but also tax advantages. Paying certain expenses with pre-tax dollars.
Which is different from an employee who earns, gets taxed, then spends what's left.
A significant difference in how cash flow works, according to the book's explanation.
And finally, it really pushes continuous learning.
Absolutely. Investing time and maybe some money in your financial education. Books, seminars, whatever works.
Like that story of the dad giving his son $3,000?
Yeah, not just to buy something like a car, but as seed money to learn investing. Figure out how to make that money work for him.
It's about acquiring the knowledge, not just the cash.
So wrapping it all up, what's the big message from this source?
Well, it seems to be that every dollar you handle is a choice.
A choice towards being rich, poor, or middle class based on where you direct it.
Towards assets or towards liabilities.
And why should you care? Because understanding that distinction and acting on it is framed as the absolute foundation for financial freedom, for getting out of that rat race.
Makes you think.
Yeah. And a final thought, based on the book's idea, if intelligence solves problems and produces money, what financial problems could your intelligence solve for you if you focused it there?